Hello everyone, I'm David from BeastieGeeks, and if you appreciate our work, you can show this by subscribing to our channel. Now, do you know that new sheriff is in town and his name is Bantam West? Bantam West is one of the most anticipated Kickstarters of this year, both for me and for Greg. And since the moment we saw the game, the sample of gameplay during the Zoom call with the developer, we're hyped to try it by ourselves. If you are interested in Bantam West, be sure to sign up for the notification page. Link to it below in the description of this video. Now, what do you think about the game itself after playing several sessions with different player count? And is Bantam West an entirely new genre of game, as we insinuate in the title of this review? Let's find out. Before we begin, keep in mind that what we have here is a prototype and many things can still change. Before we got the version you can see on this video, the developer implemented a lot of small positive changes here and there. We played using an improved version, but we have printed it locally using a printer house in our neighborhood, so quality of printed components is not something we want to show you in this video. It's hard to put this game into one single category. You can build cabins or set them on fire, hunt the wild for trophies and bandits for bounties, farm resources for special actions or simply for cash. The same cash you can exchange on your own horse, saddle, cargo, many of items, also those legendary. You can attack other players, steal stuff and cards from them and ruin their strategy on the way. You could end up in jail, visit town's dock, saloon, bank and several more locations. You can even hire riders to help you, sacrifice them during the fight and visit their graves to pay tribute to them. And open the coffins to get super unique items and stuff. With all those activities, and it was not all you can do here in Bantam West, Bantam West serves a very unique sandbox-like experience with vibes of simulator games like Stardew Valley or Gravekeeper. Probably you already know we are not into the Wild West theme that much, but Bantam West changed our indifference into fascination, and game is so thematic it reminds us of all good times spent playing Desperados years back on PC. If you know other games you believe are so good that they will change our minds about Wild West too, let us know. Coming back to Bantam, art here is really good. The graphics on Endeavor cards are so well designed that we even get mini posters of them. But great here are also NPCs, their location boards and terrain tiles with all those tiny details. And when talking about the details, the game is full of smaller and bigger flavors you are going to discover when examining the game's components. My favorite ones are the character's pursuit cards. The unique goals of each hero, strongly connected with their character. Every card is differently designed, each with its own clever way to track progress. So for example, Big Sis has a card looking like a box of matches, and to track your progress with this pursuit, you will cover the card with tokens looking like used matches. The fighting system is very similar to this from Fury of Dracula, and personally I really like this approach. It gives you a lot of control with a dash of randomness to raise the tension, and when you fight against another player, trying to guess each other's attacks is a pure fun. When we talk about combat, I want to praise the developer for how he solved the line of sight mechanic. Every location has drawn circles in different colors. When your character is, for example, in a spot surrounded by a green circle or a partially green circle, your hero can see everything on this board which also has a green circle around it. It's very easy to understand and super transparent during the session. Fighting other players is not the only way to mess up someone's strategy. You can steal from someone's cabin, barricade other players there, and even set someone's cabin on fire. Besides those direct interactions, you have also stuff like who will be the first to deliver trophies and bounties to the salon, or who get better items first. Despite so many things to do within the game, most of the actions feel very intuitive, and it's very easy to teach others how to play Bantam West. It is also possible thanks to very clear iconography, very good rulebook, and the fact that most of the rules are mentioned on the board as well, so it's hard to get lost here. Events are the mechanic we couldn't check by ourselves, cause it is still under development. All we know is that the game will provide events our heroes need to face. Are they going to be a final element making immersion in this game incredible? Or they will randomly influence the balance between competing players? We have to wait for more news, and let's hope events will introduce to the game only more good things. I have mentioned a lot of positive things about the game, but there are also several things I want to address which need to be improved. The game definitely needs more playtesting and polishing. With so many actions and options to choose from, it's easy to have a problem connecting and balancing everything properly. Seeing the difference between the two prototypes versions, we can confirm there were already a lot of small positive improvements balancing the game, but still more playtesting is expected. For example, horse is too easy to buy. Burning down a cabin is a waste of time cause you need to stay for 3 rounds and watch it burn. And NPC enemies from setup are easy enough to almost always being killed at the first attempt, even at the start of the game. The game distributes victory points very generously. Each hero has the same card of to-do list, where you get points for doing stuff like buying the horse or killing the first enemy. I understand the purpose of this card. It's a good solution to guide players during the very first turns in the sandbox type of game. But this list is fun for the first time you play the game, and using it in every gameplay will result in the effect where all players will simply do the same for the big part of the session. You can modify the length of the session, and it can end after the first player gets 10 points, 15 or 20 points. So now imagine you are picking a session with 10 points, and each player gets the same to-do list worth 5 points in total for doing exactly the same things as other players. Our recommendation is to resign from the to-do list and keep it for the tutorial sessions only, or to design several different to-do lists and distribute them randomly to players during setup. Game gives points like crazy. For each cabin you build, for each rider you hired, for trophies and bounties at the salon, for personal pursuit. Do not get me wrong, I love the variety, but with so many victory point options, game is too easy and lose a lot in strategic aspect. Of course, it's nothing that couldn't be changed with some smart improvements, so let's hope it will be addressed in the final version of the game. Obviously, we tried the game first by playing in duo, but the game is simply too big and has too many things to do for two players to meet with themselves more than once during the game, so it loses all tension and engagement from negative interaction. With 3 and more players, the game shows its true colors. Number of interaction between players is huge and each session becomes unique, engaging and exciting. I think with some small moves, game can be designed better for 2-player sessions, like only one terrain board with all the game's resources possible to extract there, which will be used in setting up only for 2 players. This way you will be forced to meet up with the second player more often and tempt to start a fight with him or interact with his cabin. It's not entirely fair to rate a game under the development, but let's approach it this way. The current improved version of the prototype gets from us 7 on 10 scratches and mark of recognition, not only because of all mentioned pros, but also because of the unique experience and a lot of fun we have playing it. But if Bantam West wants to deserve our mark of the beast and at least 9 on 10 scratches, the developer needs to work on the issues we mentioned before. Considering how responsive and open for feedback the developer is, it's more than possible that the game will easily transform from unique but decent into must-have and marvelous. One thing is sure, better sign up to its Kickstarter notification page, cause the game has massive potential and more polished will be something you definitely do not want to miss. That's all for today, see you at the next game.